Hello everybody, welcome back or welcome to my channel if this is your first time here. I know it's been a delay in my uploads. I'm been super busy, my main job, plus I do Instacart on the side. I'm working extremely hard to try to accomplish my goal of, obtaining my own home. And I've just been super busy. But let's get right into this cold case from Windsor, Ontario that I would like to talk about. Windsor is about 4 hours away from Toronto, well, depending on the method of travel that you use. And this cold case has been unsolved for 20 years. So let's get into it. It's been 20 years since 29-year-old Debilleanne, or Dee Dee, as she was more affectionately known, Williamson, and her son, Brandon Xavier Rucker, were discovered in their Windsor home. Xavier, which is the name, Brandon went by, he was born on April 21st, 1998. He was 2 months shy of his 5th birthday when this tragedy occurred. On February 27th, 2003, Dee Dee's older sister, Jennifer, couldn't get in touch with her. They were a close-knit family, and this was kind of strange to her. So she decided to go over to her house, which Dee Dee's house was located at 1323 Tilston Drive. This was in the west end of Windsor. And she entered the home. I'm not sure if the door was unlocked or she had keys to the house. But when she went in, she's calling for her sister and her nephew, and no one was answering. The house was quiet, which at this time of night, I think this was about 8:30 on February 27th. And we all know when we have kids, the house is usually not quiet, right? Unless you're sleeping, kind of thing. And she's calling, no one's answering. She made her way to the basement, and that's where she found her sister badly beaten and unalived. She was in hysterics. She called 911. They came out and started to investigate, but Xavier wasn't found right away. So the family was wondering, was he kidnapped? Did he suffer the same fate as his mother? He was eventually found on the main floor of the house in the bathroom, but investigators didn't tell them that right away. So for hours, they were contemplating what happened. Is he alive? Was he kidnapped? Was he, unalived as well? And his body just wasn't in the house. But a few hours later, investigators did tell them that, unfortunately, Xavier passed away as well. Now, police believe that Xavier witnessed the unaliving of his mother, which is why he was also harmed, because he can possibly identify the perpetrator. Investigators don't believe that this was a random attack. Neither does the family. Whoever did this was known to Dee Dee and Xavier, because there were no signs of a break-in. So that means she possibly let them into the house. And Dee Dee fought for her life. Based on the injuries that she had, she fought for her life. She was fighting to save her son's life as well. But unfortunately, the perpetrator, got the better hand in that situation, unfortunately. Now, Xavier at the time was in French immersion at Bellwood School, and Dee Dee was a receptionist at Devonshire Seniors Resident. They had just returned from a camping trip, and the family had no idea that this would be the last time they would all spend together. Dee Dee is described as being fun-loving. She loved her son. She loved her entire family, and she was kind to everyone that she met. So why would someone do this to her? Especially someone she may have been close to, or at least know. As I said, police and her family do not believe this was a random attack. At the time of her unaliving, Dee Dee was dating a man by the name of James Thomas. James lives in Metro Detroit. Dee Dee was known to frequent Detroit a lot. Detroit is about a 7-minute drive using the Detroit-Windsor Tunnel, and Xavier's father was also from Detroit. Now, initially, James was very cooperative with police. He stopped talking to police, and they would still like to talk to him again. Recently, the police held a press conference, and they doubled the reward from $20,000 to $40,000. And investigators are hopeful that this new reward will encourage people from both sides of the border to tell police what they know. Even a small piece of information that you think might be trivial might be the missing evidence that allows for investigations to connect the dots and finally solve this mystery. Now, as I said, Dee Dee traveled to Detroit a lot. She had a lot of friends in Detroit, and she also had a journal that she detailed a lot of her personal life in. And there are a lot of things that police hasn't released. Obviously, that's what they usually do when they're investigating, right? They kind of hold back a piece of the information, so when they do catch a perpetrator, they can, connect the dots and say, this is the person that did it, sort of thing. Now, Dee Dee's niece, Nike Williamson, spoke at the press conference, and I'm going to include a bit of the clip here in her own words, because I don't think me reading what she said will do it any justice.
I was very young when this happened, but it's something that lives in my mind every day. I had to grow up at a young age knowing that monsters aren't just something under the bed, it's people who walk among us. It hurts me to know that my aunt probably fought until her last moment for my cousin, and that his last moments were in fear. We're just hoping that somebody will do the right thing. We know somebody knows something.
Now, detectives are currently reviewing DNA collected at the scene, but so far they've had no matches. It has helped to eliminate a lot of suspects, but it hasn't helped to, point them in the right direction. Now, anyone with the information is asked to call the Major Crimes Unit at 519-255-6700, extension 4830. You can also contact Crime Stoppers anonymously at 519-258-8477, or you can go online to www.catchcrooks.com. As I said, this case has been unsolved for 20 years, and Dee Dee's family, they're still hurting as if it just happened yesterday. Xavier was only 4, about to be 5. He didn't get to enjoy his life as he should. Dee Dee was only 29. She was still a young lady. And for something like this to happen, and especially in our own home, like, what could have triggered this? But have you ever heard about this case? Let me know in the comment section. And if you're not yet subscribed to the channel, please do so. Give the video a like, leave a comment, and share. And I'll see you guys in the next one.
It was 20 years ago today. A mother and son were found brutally murdered in their West Windsor home. Today, as CTV's Travis Fortnum reports, police making another appeal for information in the unsolved case and doubling the reward money for tips.
It's been 2 decades since the bodies of Debilleanne Dee Dee Williamson and her 4-year-old son Xavier Rucker were found inside their home on Tilston Drive. Williamson found by her sister in the basement, brutally beaten, her son in a bathroom upstairs. The family is still haunted by the unsolved murders 20 years later.
I was very young when this happened, but it's something that lives in my mind every day.
Dee Dee's niece, Nike, making an emotional appeal Monday as investigators double the reward for information to $40,000.
I had to grow up at a young age knowing that monsters aren't just something under the bed, it's people who walk among us. It hurts me to know that my aunt probably fought until her last moment for my cousin, and that his last moments were in fear.
In the years that have passed, Windsor police say advancements in DNA technology have helped shrink their list of persons of interest, but time has also complicated the investigation, in part because that list names people on both sides of the Detroit River.
20 years ago, you'd be able to drive across the border and just interview somebody. Nowadays, we have to go through the U.S. authorities as well.
Constable Owen says investigators will be re-interviewing witnesses, saying one missing piece could put the whole puzzle together.
It's been 20 years. That's long enough to wait on the information you have.
Police hoping this anniversary appeal and increased reward could help close the case, in turn bringing closure to a family still reeling.
We're just hoping that somebody will do the right thing. We know somebody knows something.
A summer vacation, a family camping trip. The sounds of children laughing, the smell of breakfast on the grill, making life moments. The Robinson family had no idea this would be the last vacation they would ever spend all together.
I was at my friend's house. My son called me up. Mom, something's going on at Dee Dee's house.
Dee Dee is Deborah's oldest daughter. Xavier is Dee Dee's son.
He says, Mom, I hear there's blood everywhere.
A horrific discovery around 8:30 the night of February 27th, 2003, as Deborah's other daughter, Jennifer, walks into Dee Dee's house. There's no sign of Dee Dee or Xavier. Jennifer steps into the basement, where she finds her sister on the ground, beaten to death.
And it just seemed like our world just crashed and, it was unbelievable, this can't be happening.
But one question haunts the family. Where is Xavier? Did someone kidnap the 4-year-old? Hours go by, then police give Deborah the answer she feared.
And then once they got the whole family together, that's when they told us he's expired.
Xavier's body is found in the bathroom. Police have never released the 4-year-old's cause of death.
He was a little angel. Now he's a real angel. It's hard to lose a child and a grandchild in one night. They were gone. They were stolen from me. And I know they'll never come back.
Dee Dee and her 4-year-old son Xavier were both found brutally murdered across the river in their Windsor home nearly a decade ago.
We're going to solve this one.
You may think that statement is arrogant, but Detective Frank Providenti's confidence can be supported by numbers. Since the Windsor police started a major crimes unit, every current homicide has been solved. Now, they're focusing on cold cases.
This stuff doesn't go away. We never close cases.
Just weeks ago, major crime solved a 12-year-old cold case, and now all of their attention is on bringing justice to Dee Dee and Xavier.
Killing a 29-year-old woman is bad enough, but a 4-year-old child, he didn't do anybody any harm.
Police say the people who may hold the key to solving this murder mystery are now living right here in Metro Detroit.
The person that killed Dee Dee and Xavier has spoken to somebody about this, and they need to come to us and help us.
This is James Thomas. Police say Thomas, who lives here in Metro Detroit, was dating Dee Dee at the time of her death. The defenders are told Thomas was cooperative 9 years ago, but they want to talk to him again.
There's a few questions I'd like to clear up regarding his whereabouts during that time.
Thomas is not alone. Police say there are other Metro Detroiters who are people of interest. Detectives want to speak with them. They want to confirm the last time Dee Dee was seen alive.
And I know someone knows information on this.
They also want to speak with other Metro Detroit men because of what they found in Dee Dee's own handwriting.
Dee Dee had a journal, and she kept a lot of information in her journal. And we're getting a lot of information to go on from her journal.
I miss him so much.
For the Robinson family, an arrest will bring closure, but they know it will never bring Dee Dee and Xavier back.
That child will never see school again, never see a playground, never see his favorite toy.
There will never be another family vacation, never be another chance for everyone to make life moments. All that's left now is a box full of memories and a videotape. Family and police believe this was not a random attack. They say Dee Dee knew her killer. They also believe Xavier was killed because he could identify the murderer. Mark Santia, Defenders.